1993. And what happened basically didn't happen that they held back water because it kept raining and raining. And they held back water up here on the dam so that it wouldn't flood the other rivers downstream. Well, it just kept rising and rising, and we'd go out and look at it, and it would be backing up into the spillway, and we'd all say, never, never can it do it.
You couldn't walk on the levee.
Yeah, you couldn't walk on the levee out here because it might do something, but
soften. Where you stood, it might soften and
fall in. But it just kept filling up out the spillway, and like I say, you'd watch it, and then pretty soon we went out one day and it was trickling over the spillway area, which meant that it really might be going to flood. And the trickle became pretty soon just, yeah, really coming over and really coming over. And they didn't really know what it was going to do because it had never flooded anything before. But the outlying areas around here, the houses over where Dick's Edition and over where Lori and the boys live, it started coming up from over there, and they didn't have any idea where it was going to go to, like I say. And so I wasn't too concerned because even though it doesn't look, we're up a little bit. We're not as low as those are over there. But one day I was here and the National Guard came with sandbags and threw them out in our yard. And then it became pretty traumatic. You felt like, but then I don't know how many days before it finally got up, but it took out a whole bunch of, flooded a whole bunch of areas in there, flooded it. The dike didn't hold, did it really?
What?
The dike or the levee didn't hold. It flooded.
No, it held.
Yeah, okay. But at any rate, many, many people out in this end of town, their houses were flooded in the basement and everything like that. And of course, they didn't have flood insurance. But we put our refrigerator and stuff up on blocks and everything and waited for it to come. And I guess we even took some of our stuff out and took it away and things.
And they had the 66 tornado.
And at any rate, it was just a long, traumatic, drawn out thing. And then when it was all over with and the water had finally gone away, out where the spillway was, then it was just the water had taken and made just all kinds of deep ridges and everything else and really dug out that area out there. So people would go out there for years. They would go out there and walk around in the canyons and stuff that it made and everything like that. But, it was,
go out fossil hunting.
Yeah, they'd go out fossil hunting and find all kinds of neat stuff where the flood had drubbed the canyons through there and everything like that. And like I say, I don't really know how many people it affected over in that area, but many of them, it didn't flood their homes. The water came up from underneath, from the ground area afterwards, and which was even worse because it came up and filled it with, well, of course it's all dirty.
They have basement drains that filled.
Yeah, and it came up and filled up, not necessarily because their house got the flood water in it, but they got the groundwater in it, so that and there were so many of them, many, many, many of them who did not have flood insurance. And so they tried to fight the insurance companies to get, and actually did get, some of them did get insurance companies too.
Yeah, you know one couple.
Yeah, that got flood insurance. And another area from that, all the Redbud trailer courts out there by Seschild. Mm-hmm. It's another place that got, really flooded. But it was a really, really big flood. And there's only supposed to happen it's only supposed to happen like once every 100 years. So the chance of it ever happening again for like in my lifetime.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's anything.
Yeah.
And